Hi, my name is Andika Duncan. I'm a property manager here in Princeton, Texas, and I am the broker and owner of Showstopper Realty. And before we start, I want to set the context for why this conversation matters. A lot of homeowners right now are in a situation they did not expect. You may have moved already or you're about to. You may have tried to sell and didn't get the results you wanted. Or you're realizing that selling right now just doesn't make financial sense. So now you are holding a property that was never meant to be an investment, but it has become one. And that brings a new question. What is the smartest move from here? And that's what we are going to break down today. So sell, rent, or hold. Let's start with the question most people in your situation are asking right now. What do I do with this home? Do I sell it? Do I rent it? Or do I hold on to it and wait as a long-term investment? And the truth is that this is not an emotional decision. This is a numbers decision. And today I am going to walk you through a simple and clear framework so you can understand exactly where you stand and what makes the most sense financially. Many of the people that I work with did not plan to become landlords here in Princeton. You bought this home to live in, and now something has changed. Maybe you relocated, maybe the market shifted, maybe life just moved in a different direction. So now you are in the situation where selling doesn't feel right, but keeping the home comes with a lot of risks. So this is what we call an accidental landlord. And this is not a failure. You are simply adapting to a new situation. So now we look at the part that most people underestimate, and that's the real monthly cost. Most homeowners think that my mortgage is X, so that's my cost. But that's not the full picture. You also have property taxes, insurance, maintenance because things break and that's normal, HOA if applicable, and vacancy, which means time when the home is empty. When we add all of that together, we get your true monthly cost. In this example, it's about $4,100 per month. But the market rent, the amount that a tenant is actually willing to pay for it, is about $3,200. So that leaves a gap, and it's about $900 per month coming out of your pocket. And this is a more expensive property that we are talking about. This gap can be $200 to $400 to $500 in your case, okay? This is what we call a negative cash flow. That simply means that the property costs you more money each month instead of making you money. And this is where decisions need to be made. So now here's the part most owners get wrong. They focus on management fees when it comes to property management, like 8% versus 10%, or maybe a flat fee. But that's not where the real risk is. The real risk is vacancy. And vacancy means that the home is empty. No rent is coming in, but all expenses continue. One extra month sitting empty can cost you thousands. Compare that to management fees, which are small and predictable. So the real question is not how do I save on fees? The real question is how do I get this home rented as quickly as possible with the right tenant? Now, let's look at what happens when nothing happens. If the home sits empty for 1 month, you lose a few thousand. 2 months, it doubles. 3 months, it becomes a serious financial hit. And this happens faster than most people expect, especially if you already moved and now you are carrying 2 payments. So time is not neutral here. Time is very expensive. Every month that passes without a tenant increases your loss. This slide here shows what happens over time. At the beginning, you still have options. You can rent it, you can adjust pricing, you can make decisions calmly. But as time goes on, savings go down, stress increases. and decisions become reactive instead of strategic. And eventually, some owners are forced into decisions they didn't want to make, like selling under pressure. So the goal is to act early and not late. So can I rent for my mortgage amount? This is one of the most common questions I hear. Can I just rent it for what I need to cover my mortgage? And the answer is no. The market sets the rent. That means that tenants compare your home to others. And if your price is too high, they choose something else. What happens next is important. The home sits longer. And the longer it sits, the more money you lose. Even trying to save $200 a month by pricing higher can cost you thousands if it delays leasing. So pricing correctly is one of the most important decisions that you have to make. So now that you understand the numbers and the risks, we look at your plan forward. There are 3 paths: sell strategically, rent strategically, or hold it as an investment asset. And I'm going to walk you through each one of these in detail so you can clearly see where you fit. Sell strategically. This option is for when the numbers no longer work. You are losing a significant amount of money every month, and you do not have enough savings to keep covering that loss. If you also have another payment like rent or another mortgage, the situation becomes harder very quickly. And selling may mean bringing money to the closing, accepting a lower price, taking a loss, but it stops the monthly bleeding immediately. This is the right choice when your cash flow is strongly negative, your reserves are low or completely gone, and you need certainty and relief now. You are choosing a controlled loss today instead of risking a much bigger loss later, like falling behind or facing foreclosure. Rent strategically. This is the middle option. You keep the home and rent it out so a tenant covers most of your monthly payment. You may still have a small gap, for example, $200 to $400 that we talked about earlier, but it is predictable and manageable. Instead of losing the full payment every month, you reduce your loss significantly and keep the property and give the market time to improve. This option works when you can handle a small shortfall. You have some savings, ideally a few months, and you want to avoid selling at a loss. The goal is not perfection. The goal is stability and time. You are buying time while your loan balance goes down, the market potentially improves, and your options increase later. This is the investment, intentional investment. So when you hold the property. So this option is for homeowners who are in a strong position. The rent either covers the full payment or creates a small positive cash flow. You also have enough savings to handle repairs and maintenance without stress. At this point, you are no longer reacting to a situation. You are making a decision to hold the property as an investment. And this means that planning to keep the home for 3 or 5 or more years and letting a tenant pay down your mortgage and building equity over time. This is the most stable position, but unfortunately not everyone qualifies for it. So this is not about picking the best option, obviously. This is about picking the option that fits your finances, your risk level, and your timeline. Performance over fees. Now, let's talk about what actually saves you money, and that's speed. If one company takes 90 days to rent your home and another takes 30 days, that is a huge difference. At around $2,200 rent, that's about $4,400 saved. So again, the focus is not a small percentage difference in the management fee. The focus is how fast we can place a qualified tenant. So this is how we create that speed if you work with me and Showstopper Realty. We have a very serious online presentation. We use drone photos just to elevate the view and grab the attention. Twilight photos taken at sunset to make sure that the home stands out. 3D virtual tours so tenants can walk through the online floor plan. Virtual staging to show how the home can look furnished. And this creates more interest, and more interest leads to more showings, and more showings lead to faster leasing. Yes, what I wanted to say that because I am a professional real estate photographer and a real estate broker, most property managers won't pay for this level of advertising. But as a broker and a photographer, I control my marketing budget directly, and I can reinvest it into the property's presentation. I don't share my commission with someone above me, and also with the photography. I am the person who takes the pictures. I am the one who creates the virtual staging and the 3D virtual tour. So there is no extra cost for me to create this presentation. So now this is how we screen the tenant that comes into your home. So once we attract the people, we will filter them very carefully. We verify their income, and we ask for 3 times the rent in a total household income. We will check their background. We don't accept any evictions, broken leases, and no felonies. And we also check for unpaid utility bills. So utility bills that went to collections, because this is a very strong sign of payment risk. So this process ensures that we don't just move fast, we move correctly. And the goal is one thing: a reliable tenant who pays on time and takes care of the home. We also have full transparency. As you can see here, we have an online portal and we work with Buildium. You can log into your online portal anytime and see your income reports, expenses, repair requests, and all the documents. And everything is in one place. We also reduce your risk with guarantees like tenant placement and eviction protection. And here you can see that I have a 30-day tenant placement guarantee. That means that I promise to you that I will put somebody, a qualified tenant, into your rental home within 30 days. And if I don't, then I give you 1 month of property management for free. And then I also have a 12-month eviction protection. So if a tenant must be evicted within the first year, we will replace a new tenant with 0 placement commission. So these are very, very strong guarantees that I offer because I am that certain that I can deliver on my promises. So this is your final decision framework, and this is where you will have to think about these questions to see what option is the right for you. So to decide your path, ask yourself, can you handle a monthly loss? So it's going to be around $2,000 to $2,200 a month, or even more if you have a bigger property, right? Can you handle a large repair if it comes up, like the AC, plumbing, electrical? Is your income stable? Are you willing to hold this property for a few years? And when you answer these questions, this will guide your decision. So I'll leave you with this. What would it mean for you to have the right tenant in place, knowing your home is being taken care of, and your risk is controlled? And how would that change your day-to-day life if you didn't have to think about this property anymore? So that's the goal. I help you place a reliable tenant and protect your investment so you can step out of the stress and get back into living your life. If that's something you want, we can take the next step and look at your numbers together.